Hi, this is Anita from the Dusty Roads podcast. As part of our podcast here in the past, we've talked about remote work overseas. These people that are like they're global trotters. They work all over the world. And I've seen many of them here as I'm here in Hanoi, Vietnam. And I'm living and working here, and I'm actually working here. So that's why I'm here during this time. But I've seen many of them traveling, some with families. They're just like, oh, we're traveling the world for a year. We're going to be here for a month or here for a week, and then we're going to move on to the next place. And while I'm here, I'm working. I've heard of other people just like, oh, my nieces and nephews came to visit me, and they're, going to be here for like a week because they can work anywhere in the world. The next stop is they're going here, and then the next stop here. And then, they're basically up all night working, and then they sleep during the day, and then they go out and see a little bit during other times. Recently, it was quite interesting. I read an article and I heard about this because I have some family members that happen to work for this organization, is that Walmart basically said to all of its employees that it was cutting out remote work. Now, this is significant because Walmart is one of the United States' largest employers. And because of that, Walmart now is basically saying, we want everyone to come into, one of these few offices. And if you don't want to come, then, here's basically your choice. And basically your choice is that you can resign and get some severance pay. This is significant because of the fact that a company as large as Walmart is basically saying no to remote work. I have been saying for quite some time, and I'm sort of a bit of a believer in this, and I know it's not necessarily a popular thing to say or to state, especially for many people who might be, love remote work or want to do remote work or, believe in remote work. But I've been saying for a long time, I don't think remote work is sustainable. Now I want to go back here to after COVID-19. After COVID-19 happened, and Vietnam here was shut down for a couple months quite severely. And I actually said to my staff here, I said, would you like to do like a hybrid type of thing? Would you like to, do some remote work at home? Would you like to come back to the office, or would you like to do complete remote work? They said, oh no, we want to come back to the office. So we made a decision to come back to the office. I have to say I was glad for that decision and glad that they wanted to come back to the office because I feel like it just helps a lot of things. It helps with our being able to collaborate better. It just helps with our workload. It helps with us being able to discuss things, to, talk to each other. It helps with building relationships. There's so many things that can't happen on Zoom or can't happen online that can really only happen in person. I have written a blog entitled, Is Remote Work Dying? Why It May Soon Be a Thing of the Past. Now, I know, as I mentioned before, for many of you, this may not be very popular. Many people want to see remote work going on forever. But I've listed out 14 reasons why I feel like it may eventually become a thing of the past, especially when you have companies and corporations as big as Walmart who have just recently said no more remote work. And in fact, they are building a new corporate headquarters in Arkansas to basically show that they're committed to people coming into the office. At the same time, they're letting go of, hundreds of corporate jobs. Here are some reasons why I think that, remote work may be kind of a thing of the past. And you might ask, well, why are you talking about it on the Dusty Roads podcast, which is, basically, we talk a lot about travel, culture, and other things. And part of the reason is because this is partly the aspect of what travel's become today. Remote work has allowed many people to be able to travel and work as they've never been able to before. Normally, you work and then you go on a vacation and then you travel and then you come home. Today, remote work has allowed some people to essentially travel full time. Will this be something they'll be able to keep up? I think for many people, this will not be the new reality. And here are some of the reasons why I believe. One would be collaboration and innovation. I think it's very hard to collaborate and to innovate online, on Zoom. I think that can become very difficult. Yes, there might be some exceptions with some jobs, but generally speaking, this can be difficult. Most people work well together in a group setting, able to collaborate and innovate together. The other might be work-life boundaries. Like, for example, If you are traveling to another country and you want to see that country and see that place, but you're up all night working, then maybe you're very tired at night and you're not giving your best. If you have grandchildren or children that suddenly now you don't have to take them to a babysitter, or you're going to not have a babysitter, you're going to watch them while you're working. Are you able to really get your work done? Are you able to go to a store and do shopping while at the same time listening in on a meeting? How much are you really able to contribute to that? So I think that these are all the reasons why many employers are figuring out that these things are happening, and as they're happening, this is not contributing to the company itself. And that goes to the third part about monitoring and accountability. Are they able to really monitor and to know what is going on? Yes, I know there's people out there who work remotely and work very hard at home, but yet there's also those who have taken advantage of it. So you've got both sides of it, and companies have seen that. The other could just be the company culture. One of the reasons why Walmart said we're calling our people in is because this is what our company's about and this is what we believe, and this is why we're doing this, that remote work is not part of our company culture. So, it could just be basically the company culture. Could have to do downsizing and cost of management. Companies are requiring employees to return to the work. This could be a way to cut jobs, to downsize without having to downsize. Remote work can sometimes lead to reduced productivity and performance issues. So, the employees' performance themselves, maybe over time, are suffering. It is very hard to have the stamina or to have the ability to work every day from your home. Most people do better with some type of schedule. Most people do better when they're able to, go into an office and they know they have to get up and go into the office than to, sort of roll out of bed, haven't taken a shower, turn on the computer. Most people do better with a type of schedule. There's very few people that are able to be self-motivated enough, to do it the other way. Many companies might be looking at hybrid models. They might be saying that, look, you need to come to the office 3 days a week, then you can be flexible some of the other times. There could be some economic pressures, labor market and social factors where, they're shifting away from remote work, that, businesses might find that economics are getting tougher. So they need to have the focus into their own office. The people might just have Zoom exhaustion. I mean, how many Zoom meetings can you have a day? If you're spending your whole time on a Zoom meeting or your whole time on a meeting, they might be having complete Zoom exhaustion. They're just exhausted with all the dynamics of the online meetings. Remote work actually opens it up to the global talent pool. And this is something which a lot of people haven't really thought about. But if your job is 100% remote, then there is absolutely no reason why companies cannot be hiring people in other parts of the world, that they can essentially hire anywhere and, hire for much less. So it opens up to a whole other global talent pool. AI, no doubt, is impacting it. I heard the other day that when it came to some of the writers, where, before maybe they needed 15 writers for a script, maybe today they only need 3. The rest they can use some with AI. So, there's, AI, of course, has changed how many people are needed for certain types of jobs. So this whole emergence of AI, no doubt, has changed and impacted globally for the employees. Some people that are taking advantage of it and becoming, these, global trotters, and they're road warriors, and they've decided they're going to go off on the road and they're going to, work from the road. They're going to have connectivity issues, especially if you start traveling to third world countries and, the internet's going to go off, or suddenly the electricity is going to go off. There's all these things that start happening. And, there could be employers who are like, look, we don't want this anymore. Employers may feel like they need to focus in tough economic times. And they may have realized that even though they've been able to give up the office space, and even though they no longer have an office space, there can be other costs which have been hurting them, so that, it's really not beneficial for them to have this remote work hybrid. Walmart's decision to stop remote work, I think, is a significant one. And it's one which I believe is going to continue as other companies and corporations will, start to do the same. They might be saying, look, we want to pull our employees to come back into the office. So that's kind of my opinion. Write a comment if you maybe you don't think I'm right. I know this is not necessarily a popular opinion. I know a lot of people, they want remote work. They like remote work. They say I work really hard at home. And, I believe all that too. But I also think for everyone that works really hard at home or thinks they work really hard at home, there's probably 2 or 3 people who are not getting as much done if they could be focused in the office. So that's why I kind of feel like remote work may eventually become a thing of the past. And maybe it'll end up being more like a hybrid model, which would be good for work-life accountability. But remember, here's one of my main things, that if you have a job that's completely remote, your competition now is with the world. It's no longer just local or with people around you. It is now with the world, and that is something for you to remember. This is Anita from the Dusty Roads Podcast. We hope you've enjoyed this podcast. We've written a blog on this, which we'll put a link in for the blog. Is remote work dying? Why it may soon be a thing of the past. And we'll put the link in there so you can be able to read the blog if you're interested in this more and interested in finding out more about remote work itself. We'd like to thank you for listening. Subscribe. We'd love to have you subscribe and become part of our channel. And thank you so much for being part of our community. We know without you, this would not be possible.